Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now in today's video we're going to be talking about the skill champions that I personally find the most fun. Now it is a very important distinction, these aren't necessarily my absolute favorite champions, because if you're talking about that, I quite often also include how good the champion is alongside how, exciting it is to use him, or just how many awesome fights the champion can do. Now, these are the champions that I kind of actively try to find reasons to use. These are the champions that I will select on an easy quest, or a quest that I perceive to be easy, just because these are the champions that absolutely put a very silly, childish grin on my face due to one interaction or another. And obviously, all that being said, this list is absolutely subjective. There are no right or wrong answers. I will have some champions here that you don't necessarily enjoy, and I'm sure that you enjoy some champions that I don't necessarily do. So this is all 100% personal preference. All your favorite champions and the most fun champions that you find, you're more than welcome to comment about them and on them. Just don't start going, I can't believe this champion is not on that list, or I can't believe that. That's for you. I like different things than other people do, so don't be that guy. But either way, so we did talk about the science champions already, and now we are on skill class. And skill class is surprisingly quite a serious class for most part. For instance, Nick Fury is an insanely amazing champion, and yeah, I do enjoy using him quite a lot, but he's not the champion that I actively seek to use as often as possible. However, there are some champions that still do have those kind of cheesy, silly qualities. And the first champion right now is going to be, oops, not that, we're going to leave that for later. First champion is going to be the Kingpin. And not necessarily just Kingpin by himself, but Kingpin with the Mr. Sinister synergy. Because the Mr. Sinister synergy gives Kingpin quite powerful aspect of power control. Because you power lock the opponents for 6 seconds after they use special attack, and that means that you are free to go belly bumping. And that is the best aspect of Kingpin. Using Kingpin is quite fun, especially in some matchups where, you get tons of debuffs and you can do silly amounts of damage and stuff like that. But in a generic fight, Kingpin can still be tons of fun if you just go and smash your opponents with your belly. And especially when you go up against something like a Winter Soldier, it's even more fun because you don't have to try. You can make all the mistakes in the world, because Kingpin is obviously a very tanky champion. Kingpin is also a champion that consistently regenerates throughout the fight, and you can just kind of do whatever you don't. And in this fight, I am not like playing well on purpose, just to kind of demonstrate, where you can just keep spamming your heavy attacks if you want. You can keep getting hit on purpose just to gain some more rage charges, but there's like some nice 29k heavy attack. We're gonna go for a few more belly bumps, go for level 2, just try and have him use a special one. If he doesn't wanna go risking a heavy, why not go for another belly bump? And it always works out. You require kind of minimum concentration, minimum effort for maximum amount of fun, just belly bumping that Winter Soldier with your Kingpin and having fun. Even here, like he's shooting level 2, I was still unstoppable, so nothing kind of crazy happened. You can still belly bump. Now I'm gonna eat a level 1. It's not the biggest of deals. I can just get back in there, drop my level 2, and start bumping once again. And I don't know, it is strangely enjoyable. It's not something you might necessarily want to find yourself doing for hours in and hours end, but it is definitely something that puts a smile on my face, because it's funny. It's a fat guy belly bumping. And you can get a lot of those belly bumps in. You can get a lot of those belly bumps in. And here, another mistake towards the very end. But either way, I do genuinely enjoy kind of playing silly or playing stupid with Kingpin, especially with Mr. Sinister synergy. Right, so next, let's get back to the second place champion. That'll be Massacre. Massacre is also extremely fun and enjoyable champion, at the very least for me, just because of that playstyle. He has very enjoyable heavy attack, he has very enjoyable animations, and once you do ignite your bat and once you start dropping incinerates, then you can either choose to do level 2s or just try and spam as many incinerates as you can. And it is extremely fun. Now, it is a bit annoying in Realm of Legends because Realm of Legends AI doesn't have zero instinct of self-preservation, but that is where Massacre's buff kind of comes in play. Previously, in Realm of Legends, it was quite hard to ignite the bat. And now, it really is a lot easier because the timers are a lot more player-friendly and you do have a lot more time to get after 10 charges. Now, this isn't going to be like the best Massacre gameplay, once again, because ideally you do want to use your Massacre when he's fully synergized, just to increase the incinerate durations, increase the ignite durations, stuff like that. You know, as with most champions, if you fully synergize them up, then, you know, they can do more damage or they can function slightly better. But still, even unsynergized Massacre is always extremely fun because you always want to upkeep that tempo, you always want to be as quick as possible, you always want to get more and more incinerates, and I think in this fight, towards the end, I'm going to get to about 18, 19. I'm not going to do like too great of a job going for tons of them. But there have been fights when I have gotten like up to 30 incinerates. And especially if there are fights where you do have some sort of increased power gain, or if you just use some synergies that lets you gain power quicker, then that definitely helps, because the key there is obviously spamming your level 1s, and the opponents that do not have long special attack animations are kind of the best, most perfect opponents to go up against, because you do not want to spend a lot of time watching opponents' special attacks or trying to bait them out. So any fight where you can be super aggressive is just going to work really, really, really well for Massacre. And here we can see that I was fidgeting at around 18 incinerates there, but my ignite had expired. I need to get my charges back. So I think the fight's nearly going to be over, but what's not like? There's like Disorient, there's like 6 to 9 bleeds active at all times, and there's like 16 incinerates or something. It's awesome, awesome levels of fun. Definitely really enjoy using Massacre and try and stack as many incinerates as I possibly can. And then, besides Massacre himself, we still have the Moleman. The Moleman's buff was phenomenal, and he is an exceptional champion now. And there is something strangely satisfying between having all guaranteed critical hits and each critical hit inflicting a bleed on an opponent, and then on top of that, if you do have shock active on your opponent, then you know, every time you inflict bleed, opponents also take a burst of damage. So he kind of combines all the sweetest of numbers, where you have shiny yellow numbers, you have damage over time effects that absolutely tick away, and then you have, you know, decent sized red numbers as well. And obviously, when easy openings with your unstoppable is also a sight to behold. If you want to really have fun, then you can add in Black Panther synergies, a couple of them, to increase your bleed damage, because obviously you do bleed your opponent quite a lot. And yeah, so we have a fight to showcase with Moleman as well. One second, let me rewind here. So this is going to be Moleman against Winter Soldier. The fight again isn't going to be perfect. I wasn't trying to, like, you know, do the greatest of the job or do several kind of goes with it, but the base idea is you just want to use few heavy attacks initially and then kind of drop your level 1, and then you go and have fun. Now, the only thing that really does get you frustrated often with Moleman is that pathetic heavy reach. That pathetic heavy reach really is annoying. Also worth noting that in this fight I do not have deep wounds active, and if I did, then, you know, he would be doing even more damage, because I do have a couple of Black Panther synergies, so his bleed damage is increased. But we can see that Winter Soldier here is already pretty much melting. I'm 20 hits in, and Winter Soldier is already a third of his life down. And, you know, he's ticking even further and further. And you do need to win a heavy attack, which is arguably the most annoying thing in the fight using Moleman, because, you know, you do need to keep an eye on the amount of charges you have. But if you're using Moleman in pretty much any fight that's not Winter Soldier, that's 500k HP, then, you know, the fights are over relatively quickly with Moleman as well. Especially if you do it in like Act 7, where you have tons of nodes with some sort of attack multipliers. You know, it all works out quite well. And here we can see that Winter Soldier is like at 19% already at this point. Did make a small mistake there, got hit by one of the bullets. But yeah, after this combo, now we're gonna go for level 1. Again, place that shock. You're gonna see the burst of energy or physical damage that Moleman does. One more combo, and the fight is over. So Moleman's an absolute blast to play with. And those ultimately are the skill champions that I enjoy the most. Now, there are a couple more that I enjoy messing with now and then. Like, for instance, for a few fights now and then, I find Ronin quite enjoyable to play with. We also have... Where is that little... Crossbones. In some fights, it's quite enjoyable to try and build up as many Furies as you possibly can with Crossbones. Crossbones can be quite fun champion to use. And obviously, if you can abuse Killmonger with Void Synergy on some quest lanes, that also is always a pretty good time. Night Rusher is also kind of like a favorite of mine. So let me know, which champions do you guys find the most fun in skill class? And these were my 3 champions, kind of the 3 champions that I typically try to use as often as I can. And tomorrow we're going to be taking a look at the mutant champions that I personally find the most fun. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm going to catch you guys soon. See ya.
Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about